Packers. Perfect segment. Perfect segue. Excuse me. Into the next segment where we're going to talk about, are the Packers going into rebuild? So obviously we know now Aaron Rodgers, I think, is going to leave. Whether it be a smarter or this not as good option, it seems like he will leave.
I will bet right now leaving. His top two options, I think he'll either retire, I think he'll go to Denver, and then maybe, if he's out of those options, I don't think he'll go anywhere else besides Denver.
Tampa Bay, I'm telling you, Tampa Bay. Look at all the news.
I don't think Brady's retiring.
Yeah, but
I think it's so hard to fathom that, given how long he's been in the game.
Here's what I'll say. I think, the whole argument comes down to Aaron Rodgers explicitly said, I do not want to become a part of rebuild. This Packers team
are basically set to rebuild at this point.
It's not as much a rebuild. It
kind of is. They're losing your best receiver.
You lose Devondre Campbell.
You're losing
Robert
Tunyon.
You lose Tunyon.
They're probably got to cut Preston Smith.
Yeah, Preston Smith. No, Preston is a free agent.
He's not. But he has such a big
Valdez Scantling's a free agent. Lazard's restricted free agent. The only receivers they have are Amari Rodgers and
Randall Cobb, but he might be cut too.
Get cut. And then Bakhtiari's had those injury problems. You lose Rodgers, Jordan Love, who without Devontae Adams or Robert Tonyan, any of those weapons, I don't know what they're going to do with him. And then a defense that's going to lose Devondre Campbell. You're basically going to have Jair Alexander. Who knows? Maybe Jair Alexander's like, I don't want to.
No, I think.
I'm not saying that will happen, but I'm just saying
it's like a bad
big
situation.
Domino effect where. And then I would assume, if Aaron Rodgers goes to a team like Denver, for example, which we'll get into later, who have that space, and Devontae Adams like, all right, I'll go to Denver. They get a new coach, they get
they got the Packers offensive coordinator.
Yeah, but again, talking about that, Hackett goes to the Broncos.
Yeah,
so
it's just prolonging their window.
As much as we love LaFleur, is he?
He's a great coach, and I think the one saving grace that might be here for Green Bay is that the rest of the NFC North is terrible. Because the Vikings, they've got a lot of talent, but they can never put it together.
They announced now, I think people in the Vikings organization believe that because it's not the guy, they're now in the sweepstakes for Watson, but I think more came news.
Watson. Watson, although, we still got to wait for that situation to
I think
play
I think the Lions, honestly, give them 2-3 more years to get free agency and
2-3 more years, definitely.
They can be a contender.
Bears, depends on what
how long have we been saying that, though?
That's true.
Literally 100 years.
I think
we've been saying that.
The Bobby Lane curse, just 50 years. They said they'll never win a championship. Just they've been perpetually rebuilding, but
for 70 years,
it's unbelievable.
For 70 years,
hey, the Bengals.
I think it's been since 1958. They've only won one playoff game. That's just.
That's actually insane. That's unbelievable.
But I think they've got.
But what do we think? Are the Packers, going to rebuild? If you're the Packers right now, what are you doing?
That's such a tough. Because they can't really re-sign anyone because they're in the.
But I thought
they're in the hole.
Adams.
They can tag Adams, but they're so in the hole for cap space that I don't know if they have the financial means to do that. And Adams, he won't be happy playing on the tag. He probably wants to explore his options. He wants to see what Aaron Rodgers will do, and. Yeah, the Packers are just. Last year was the year really where they kind of either say, okay, we're going to be in a transition year where we kind of take that next step to also prioritizing our future along with our present, which is Rodgers and Adams. Mm-hmm. But they're kind of just like, okay, we're going to go all in, Super Bowl or bust this year, and they busted. So now it's just it's a very, very difficult spot.
It's unfortunate. To bust against the 49ers at home to Jimmy Garoppolo, who played terribly.
Just
wow.
I'm sorry, but I was just thinking about it. You're like, I can't say anything nowadays, and you're like,
yeah.
Oh, you can't bust against the 49ers.
We can't say anything nowadays. It's everything.
Oh my god.
No, but I'm not sure how much actual cap they have. They have $263 million in cap liabilities, and they have. It says they have 50. I think they have. It says they have 50. That's not true. I'm not sure what their cap is. But their cap's bad, obviously. So I think
I saw they were like below. I'll see it here. Here's the cap tracker. They have. Yeah. They're $50 million. They're negative in debt. Yeah.
Okay, so that was right.
They're
I
think
to the fact it doesn't matter. If Rodgers leaves, they're not winning.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
I'm gonna go over.
They can keep everyone except Aaron Rodgers.
I'm gonna go over all of the free agents for the Packers: Devontae Adams, Lucas Patrick, Whitney Merciless, their punter Borquez, Rasul Douglas, who's fantastic.
What is this?
Oren Burks, St. Brown,
Wait, who? What is the list of?
UFA,
for
Marcus
UFAs.
Valdez-Scantling.
Oh, okay.
MVS.
And there's
that's
more.
huge.
There's more. It's
Lazard, I think, is
Lazard,
restricted.
Rodgers, obviously. I mean,
But Rodgers isn't a restricted free agent.
What?
He's not a restricted free
No,
agent.
he's a free agent.
No, he's not.
Wait.
Rodgers is.
Oh,
he
Rodgers
can't-
just signed. Sorry.
No,
signed.
I think next year he's a unrestricted free agent. But this year,
Right.
Yeah,
the year
I
where
don't
they
know
play.
why.
But
He's
this
got
year
like
was
1 year
considered
left,
the.
yeah.
Sorry.
This year was
sorry.
considered the
Next
last
year it's
dance.
void. 2023 is void. He's void. I don't know.
Yeah, which means I think he's just out of contract.
No, he's a UFA. Oh yeah, never mind.
Yeah, so basically, but they were talking about how this year's the last
Yeah, no.
dance,
So
last chance
excuse
for
me.
Green
So
Bay.
they keep Zadarius Smith and Preston Smith are both free agents next year.
But I think Preston Smith is definitely in danger of being cut along
Sorry,
with
excuse me.
Randall
I completely
Cobb.
forgot. Rodgers, if he were to move on, would be traded.
Yeah,
Right. I forgot about. It. I don't know. 'Cause
But,
he
like,
signed the deal
also-
Well,
last
what
year.
what could the Packers get for him? I mean,
A lot.
I mean, I would
yeah,
say I'd
like
actually.
who would be really willing to pay like something really big for Rodgers?
I would say Denver,
Fit on with the
Pittsburgh.
mics. I think Denver right now.
Denver is the main one. I'd say Pittsburgh are
Pittsburgh,
second.
I think, are looking in the draft.
Well, what would a hypothetical trade?
I would
look like?
say similar to what the Matthew Stafford trade was, because Rodgers is a better quarterback than Stafford, but Stafford has a lot.
Significantly better quarterback.
Yes, but I would say
one of
Stafford
them's
is
in the
also.
NFC Championship
But
game.
Stafford is
The
also a
real
lot
question
younger,
is if-
so I think it would probably command 2 firsts and probably like a.
How much better is Stafford than Aaron Rodgers?
A lot better.
I
Rodgers
one of
is
them
actually
one of them's in the NFC Championship game and one of them's
But
not.
one of them also has like a super team around.
No,
him,
no, no.
like
I
Beckham,
am
Cup.
not going to back up Rodgers. He choked. That
I mean,
they
no,
should've
he
like
did choke.
he
No, he did
played
choke.
No, no, and I will
awful
get.
in
We're
that
gonna
game.
get into Stafford later on why he's proven me right or proven me wrong. Excuse me. No, Stafford or excuse me, Rodgers does not deserve any sympathy. They should have won that game. He did not. They should have won.
I think he was like 20.
is-
How many times has he choked in the
No,
playoffs?
no,
though?
it's I'm not on Rodgers' side by any means. No, yes, you're completely right. It's his fault. But I think raw talent, there's quite a gap between him and Stafford. Again, maybe
I
it's
wouldn't even
closed
say
a little
I'd
bit.
say
I think
Rodgers
it's
is still
closer than a lot of people
I think
think.
Rodgers is still a better quarterback than Stafford for sure. But I'd say based on the value that Stafford was traded for when he was like, I don't know, 32, 33, and Rodgers is going to be like 39. But Rodgers is a better quarterback than Stafford. So I'd say the haul would probably be around 2 firsts and like a player, which I think is definitely like
what
feasible.
player? Like who would the Broncos
Well, maybe a
I mean,
Drew
they're
Lock.
not like
No,
really
I
Drew
think
Lock.
I think they
Like
would have to give it Drew Lock. I think
Or well, the Packers wouldn't want that because they trust Jordan Love.
who even is the Broncos quarterback?
it's Drew.
It's Drew Lock and Teddy Bridgewater.
It's
Teddy
oh,
Bridgewater's a
that's
free
right.
agent
It's
next
Bridgewater.
year.
That's right.
Bridgewater's
yeah.
a free agent next year.
Yeah,
so technically,
Bridgewater's a
or
free
no, he's
agent.
not on the Broncos. Technically, right? He's not on the Broncos anymore.
Bridgewater.
It's
Well,
fair.
no.
Who-
Well,
who-
free
who's
agency
free
hasn't
agency
started.
started?
Who do the Broncos have that the Packers would want?
No, no one. I think
Exactly.
it wouldn't be a quarterback at least.
So maybe just be draft picks.
I think it would maybe be Chubb. I think it could be Justin Simmons. It would be someone on that defense.
No, they
Chubb.
wouldn't. They don't because the Broncos.
Chubb.
If the Broncos
Oh.
were to trade
Not
for,
Chubb.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
if the Broncos were to trade for an Aaron Rodgers, I don't think they
It's
trade.
picks, it would be picks.
They would, yeah, they wouldn't trade for any they wouldn't trade any of their players because that's basically them saying, okay, we're going all in. We want to contend with Kansas City, with Los Angeles, with Buffalo, with Cincinnati.
I think you could then make it really interesting because if the Broncos give up 3 first rounders, a second, or some big trade, then the Packers go get a receiver, maybe get 2 receivers.
I could see.
I think that it could
You
make
know,
the Packers a really
I could see
interesting
them
team.
maybe going for a receiver like a Sutton or a Judy. Because like Judy has not been.
I
feel like
really think-
I've heard that he's maybe been falling out of favor with some of the Broncos coaches,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure.
Oh, Judy.
And then
right.
Judy,
That would-
but then maybe they go and they trade Judy and they sign Devontae Adams. I could
Yeah.
see that happening, but
I really
Well,
think.
wait, who's the new Broncos head coach? Was it the
it's,
Packers
uh,
offensive
Packers
coordinator?
It's
Yeah.
Nathaniel
It's
Hackett.
Nathaniel
So
Hackett.
I mean, why would Rodgers not want to go there?
Exactly.
You know?
That's
So, like,
what I'm saying. I
I
think
see him
the Hackett
definitely
hiring-
pressuring the Packers. Like,
No,
I can
right.
see the
Maybe
Packers taking a.
Yeah.
Here's the
I
real
can see
thing.
we could segue into that subject now. Like, does the Nathaniel Hackett? It basically makes Green Bay the favorites.
I'm gonna be
now
completely
for-
honest with you. I think if Rodgers went to the Broncos and they got good, and the Packers got good competition in picks, I think the Packers would win that trade. I think.
Well,
in the
what
grand
does
scheme of
good
things-
competition?
Well, it
first
depends how the
rounders.
season went for the Broncos.
Rodgers on let's look at comparatively. If Rodgers would go to the Broncos, let's say Devontae Adams, we don't know if he would go there. The receivers are not as good as Devontae Adams or more abundant.
But they're still good.
More.
They're still
good.
You
have more.
You got Sun. You've got KJ Hamler, who's solid.
But Devontae Adams is the best receiver in the NFL.
Yes.
The offensive line, I think, probably similar. You have a good tackle, good guard, and then you look at the defense is better. But really, is it that much better? You have the second best corner in the league on the Packers. You have probably the best safety, second best safety. You have a good edge rusher. You don't have Von Miller anymore.
I think it's a more design. Well, hey, there's still
Alexander.
Who's the number 1 cornerback?
Jalen Ramsey. You know it is. We're not going to argue about that. You know it's Jalen Ramsey.
Okay, well,
All right.
Well, anyway, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I think it's more Rodgers' desire to go out of Green Bay because he can see the writing on the wall. He sees that this was probably their last great chance at making a run for the Super Bowl because Rodgers, as much as he hates to say it, as good as he's been, he's still probably going to regress sooner rather than later. And you've got, again, all these unrestricted free agents, guys that are on the chopping block, guys who could potentially be cut. You have a team that, again, really relied on that Aaron Rodgers-Devontae Adams connection. And if Devontae goes, then that's a significant portion of their offense. Because people say, oh, yeah, but Alan Lazard was good. Marcus Valdes-Scantling was good. But that was because of Devontae Adams. So I think he sees that, that was probably our last chance. So I think that's his desire to really get out and kind of maximize his own personal window of winning a Super Bowl. And I think he's definitely got a much better chance in places like Denver, Pittsburgh, probably Denver. But yeah, that's what I'd say.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I don't know. I really think in the grand scheme of things, I don't think the Packers are necessarily losing a lot. I mean, Rodgers hasn't brought you a Super Bowl.
No. Well, you're definitely losing a lot.
Yes.
Well, he has.
Actually,
I mean, you're definitely.
That terribly. He has brought us to. I mean, recently.
I mean, you're losing. You are losing a lot.
Rodgers has choked in the playoffs. If I see him,
MVP,
he potential back-to-back MVP. If he goes to the Broncos, like what really?
But you're losing perennial playoff, winning the NFC North.
But really, you look at it in the grand scheme of things. Rodgers is only going to get older.
Yeah,
you probably aren't like I don't.
And
maybe
I think
like really at the grand scheme of things, the Packers get picks. Jordan Love hopefully gets coached well. You get receivers, then.
And also, if you really believe in Jordan Love, then by now 2 years sitting behind Aaron Rodgers should be enough to say, okay, now he's the guy. So if they're really trying to coax Aaron Rodgers into kind of staying another year, that must not reflect well on Jordan Love. And I think, again, like I said, the one saving grace for Green Bay is that I don't think they're in a very good division. Again, Lions are definitely far away from contending right now. The Vikings, I mean, in terms
of contending, I think.
And then the Bears. I mean, I think the Bears could be the biggest threat if they make some.
The Bears are a coaching staff.
If they need some key. They need receivers, and I think they need an offensive line.
Yeah,
but
Fields being good,
and obviously Fields developing. But I mean, that's the point. There's a lot that still has to go for other teams to kind of take that NFC North crown. So the one saving grace for Green Bay is that it's such a weak division that they still might have a chance of winning the NFC North next season. Yeah. But it's definitely it's looking bleak for their overall contention with teams like Tampa Bay, Dallas, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Arizona. Those teams, they're not going to be going away. I mean, unless maybe the next subject Brady retires.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Mikey, you can speak, right?
Yeah.
Mikey's been quiet. Mikey's new to this, guys. But
I don't know. I don't know what there is to say. I mean, you guys are covering most of it.
But
so.
Just chime in. Let us know.
I mean. I could go on a long rant about why Aaron Rodgers is
a choker.
One of the most overrated players in NFL history. Okay. Okay.
All right. By all means.
Stat padded every year in one of the worst, if not the worst, divisions of football, the NFC North.
NFC, I mean, you said, but yeah, go ahead.
That's why I said one of.
Sorry. Continue.
Right.
Yeah. I mean. He's gotten it done 1 year, and that was against Ben Roethlisberger in the Super Bowl, and Big Ben sucked that game. He was really bad in that Super Bowl.
Well, Big Ben I don't like, so.
I mean, he was good at his prime, but
Hall of Fame, all right, maybe.
Yes, he is.
Hall of Fame. Maybe.
First ballot. I mean,
I'm saying Rodgers, I'm trying to remember a playoff game that he lost, that he played well in, and that his defense lost for him. I can't think of one.
No. I'd say
I think every game he lost.
Both of the Arizona playoff games where they lost 45-51. That was a game where he shouldn't have lost.
I think you take recently.
Oh, recently. That's a different story.
It's been Rodgers.
Because Well, I wouldn't say it's his
almost
fault,
every single time.
Because most times he's playing with like kind of below average supporting cast other than Devontae Adams. But say recently,
other than the best receiver in football,
fair
enough.
But I'd say, recently this year was definitely his fault. Last year, I'd say he outplayed Brady because Brady did throw 3 interceptions in the second half of an NFC Championship, and yet, in spite of that, still won. But he still didn't play particularly well himself, or at least to his MVP caliber. Against San Francisco in the NFC Championship 2 years ago, he didn't play well. And then the previous 2 years, they didn't make the playoffs. So, recent history has definitely not been on Rodgers' side. But I'm talking about from an overall standpoint, I wouldn't say he's necessarily a choker, but in these recent years where he's kind of had his best chances to maybe make a Super Bowl run.
This year, the Packers should be
this year,
be
last year, these were missed opportunities. Yeah. These were the years where the Packers were the best team in football in the regular season, and they just flat out blew it.
And that's where I think the conversation where I see people talking about Rodgers, Brady, and people think Rodgers is better, it just doesn't make sense.
I'd say Brady's definitely had a much better supporting cast, which makes sense. But then again, it's too big of too big of a discrepancy between achievements career-wise that I don't think you can put Rodgers in that.
And I think what it comes down to, whether you think Brady, it comes down to, all right, yes, supporting cast matter unless it's like terrible. Like Rodgers has this year, Rodgers had the supporting cast. 2 really good running backs.
Yeah, I'd say so.
A line that can hold up.
Well, a line's been injured because David
Bakhtiari. Imagine if his entire career Rodgers had like what Stafford had.
Right.
Ooh, that would be tough.
I mean, like who did Stafford have? Like Megatron, and that was it.
Yeah.
That was it.
I mean, Golden Tate was a solid receiver.
He was good. Golden Tate, Kenny Galladay, I guess.
But wait, like, are you gonna put him on the same pedestal as like Megatron?
No, I'm not saying so. I'm talking about good receivers.
Very few people you can put on the same pedestal as Megatron.
But I'm talking about good receivers that say Megatron, Golden Tate.
That's probably it.
But he never had a run game.
But like terrible
never really
coaching.
Had a defense.
Yeah, terrible coaching, bad run game, bad everything except for Calvin Johnson. Like seriously, that was the only good thing about the Lions besides Matt Stafford.
I can't think about when that defense has been good.
Yeah.
We really cannot remember.
1940s.
I can't remember.
Back in the good old day when Detroit were winning the NFL championship every year.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Yeah.
I mean, I think, really what I was kind of alluding to is like, as much as a quarterback, or as much as the team matters in playoff games, more than less of the time, it is the quarterback who goes and takes it and wins the game. And I think, and I know that it's a tough, obviously, and I think it's give or take. But this is a better way to say it. In Aaron Rodgers' case, he should be the guy who's going out there and winning them the game. You've played at Lambeau.
I'd say he at least has to
played in snow. You're playing against a West Coast team and putting up 10 points in your stadium in climate you have played in.
I'm saying that type of game it's his fault because, like, I mean, obviously, to be fair, his special teams didn't help him out. But then again, when you only put up 10 points. Yeah. In a divisional round game where, again, you are the presumed MVP.
They didn't lose at home
and you're the presumed MVP, then, I feel like it's an inexcusable performance.
I mean, it's a lot like Brett Favre, honestly. Brett Favre, a lot of years couldn't get it done.
Yeah.
I mean, in 2007, the year the Giants beat the 18-0 Patriots, he's the reason that they lost that game. He threw that pick in overtime.
He's thrown a lot of big picks in his career.
And I really hope... I don't know. I mean, I don't like Aaron Rodgers, but I also don't want us to remember his career like we remember Brett Favre's. As a great player, but
couldn't get done, in those.
We're talking about the GOAT, really? We're talking about best quarterback, like some of the best quarterbacks of all time. I don't know.